All right. Serafix, looks like you joined already. This deck I'm actually kind of excited for. So, what we are doing today is we're going to just try to flicker Deep Forest Hermit as many times as possible. So, right off the bat, the immediate combo is Deep Forest Hermit, entering, lording all the squirrels, getting me 4 squirrels. Then we're also going to be running the new Astral Drift. I know a lot of people are excited about this. Looks like a fun card for decks similar to Mr. Toad's Magic Ride and Legacy. We also get Street Wraith. Street Wraith is in there just to cycle, while Astral Drift is in the battlefield. It's paying 2 life to hopefully just get 4 more squirrels. So that's basically going to be the straight combo here. We end up running a land package, kind of similar to Legacy Lands for the Astral Drift. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. But hopefully we'll just be able to start cycling our lands. We could do it early. Entering tap's a little unfortunate, but I mean, we'll make do. There's a couple of cycling lands in here. Life from the Loam will be able to pick them back up, and we can also kind of dodge Surgical by cycling and picking up Loam if they go to extract it, but yeah, I mean, they're cards that cycle, which is super important for the Astral Drift. Then we have a couple of really good value targets. I think we ended up with 6 walls. Yeah, a lot of squirrels this week. But Wall of Blossoms, Wall of Omens, then we have Eldrazi Displacer, so if the game starts going long, we can start grinding, as well as a couple good just value flicker targets. So whenever we cycle, we can flicker Deranged Hermit, you can just flicker Night of Autumn, like so many different things. I am thirteene, and we should note this is Squirrel Week. For those of you who are in chat are clearly excited for this, yesterday was all about just a very linear to the wall squirrel deck. This week is going to be today's going to be green white squirrel flicker, and then coming up Wednesday at this time we're going to be running a squirrel aristocrat deck. I'm still like figuring out the deck list, but I'm pretty excited. This week is all about the squirrels with Modern Horizons. So oh boy, like, look at this right here. We immediately get to start off with our colors. We get something to cycle. We get Life from the Loam to get back the lands. Like, we have 3 lands that can draw here. We get a cycle to cast out. We get the Astral Drift. We get a free redraw with Street Wraith. Like, I mean, this is terrible for Modern, but this is what I'm excited about. Alright, so I know I'm going to have to run out 2 lands here. Horizon Canopy coming in. Untapped is kind of important. I'm going to start off with the Scattered Groves. Yeah, odds of drawing an untapped land probably aren't that likely, so we'll just go ahead and do that first. This has got to be like one of the most confusing starts that anybody in Modern could see. Like, if I saw this on the other side of the table, I would have no idea what to do. Snow-covered island over there means we could potentially be playing against Storm. Yeah, Chatter of the Squirrel is a card I was really hoping for. Alright, so I know I'm going to be cycling this, which means I'm probably on Horizon Canopy. I don't want to just start dredging for no reason. So I think I'm probably just going to cycle Cast Out in the Secluded Steppes next turn while holding up Path. Kind of going back though, Snow-Covered Island usually means Storm. It's also opening itself up to Snowstrix. Okay, this is looking a lot like Storm. Alright, so it's basically confirmed Storm. Well, get a Path U to start. Just trying to make the most efficient use of my mana here. Odds are we're going to die pretty quickly. I don't really have much Storm hate in the board, so this might be slightly awkward, but I've kind of just got to do what works best here. Cast Out is technically becoming castable, but just need to cycle it away. Oh boy. Can this hit something an opponent has? You may exile target creature. If you do, at the beginning of the next end step. Alright, if they try to commit to another mana dork here, Astral Drift will make it so that they won't have mana reduction. Yep, there's another Electroman. So in the sideboard, I do get Leyline, I get Rip, I get Teague, although Teague will only stop gifts. Drag Test gaining some life and being a faster clock is actually kind of relevant. Opponent right now is trying to determine if they can actually go for it right now while I'm tapped out. So if they Ritual, 100% cycling the Street Wraith in. Basically just I want to say Flicker, but Teague does stop empty, but it's Tempo Flicker. Took all that time to figure out what they were doing, and I get a tuck their Electromancer. I love it. I don't know why that play just made me so happy. All right, he's going for it. Manamorphose is set up for Gifts Ungiven. Oh, he's already going for empty. All right. So, what am I supposed to do here? Am I supposed to just cycle the Street Wraith to get rid of some Goblin tokens? Yeah, but we're gonna like slowly flicker goblins. Like paying 2 life here to get rid of a single goblin doesn't really feel good enough. Oh boy. So let's go ahead and just start off cycling, figure out where we're going with this. There's our hermit. Alright, that's a start. So I get to flicker 2 things with this Astral Drift. Alternatively, I can just Wall of Omens and... Yeah, sorry, Brad One, that was correct. I actually should have put out this drift before I cycled this steep. Well, if he has Grape Shot, I'm basically dead here, but... Let's go ahead and Astral Drift. We'll figure out if we can piece this together, because that means that we get to untap, Loam, pick up the Steep. Or honestly, just Steep Forest Hermit here and cycle this. Oh my gosh, there's just so much bad stuff going on. Ooh. They have the new art. So they have the Grape Shot. Then the Ritual and the Manamorphose, and they just get to go off. They'll at least empty the Warrens again. I mean, this is just a million goblins here. I don't think there's anything to be done. Yeah, they get a flashback and at least Grape Shot, so that's over. Alright, so how much of our plan do we actually want to dilute here? Because Rip is technically relevant, Leyline's technically relevant. I'm kind of okay with Thragtusk just gaining 5 life and being a solid blocker. Teague's probably coming in, but I don't really want to bring in 9 mediocre cards at the cost of our entire game plan. Cast Out actually isn't super relevant here, so that's probably an easy switch for Teague. Night of Autumn gaining life is probably better than Thragtusk. Thraben Inspector pretty successfully blocks tokens. Yeah, our game plan's not super strong. So currently what I'm doing, probably just trim one of each of these and bring in Rips. Oh, this is like the ugliest matchup we could possibly get here. I almost put Thalia in this list, but I figured with the Lone Planet wasn't worth it. You don't like the Thrabens here? They can pretty easily block Goblin tokens, and they also replace themselves. Is it... What would I value higher? Basically this package, or the Thraben Inspectors? I feel like an early drop is kind of needed. Like, Path is just meh. Yeah, Tusk is kind of meh, but it gains 5 life and it's a clock. Here, let's do this. We'll keep one of the hermits and trim a Thraben Inspector. Honestly, this felt like the worst matchup we could possibly get here. I don't interact with spells on a meaningful level. And zero landers, pretty right for the course here. So I'm at 4, 5, 7, 11, 15, 19, 23 lands. Should be more than enough. All right, well, this is a start. Do not need a fourth land. All right, opponent, can you beat our Thraben Inspector? I'm guessing you can. Odds of them double ritualing into a whatever it's called isn't very likely, so I'm going to lead on Wild Blossoms here. T can come down when it's a little more likely that they're going to have a 4-drop. And this play makes me think they're a little light on lands. Obviously, that's not guaranteed, but that's what it feels like. It's also weird that they started on their snow-covered island both games. That should be a 1 of in the deck. Do I really need to cast the Leyline, though? Most of the time, post-board, Storm likes to go for Gobos, not Grape Shot. Alright, well, if they 4-drop here, then I stand corrected. Should have led on Teague. Another ritual. Oh my gosh. They're not even gonna gifts here. They're actually gonna empty. Wow, they're gonna empty for a ton of goblins. Alright, well, this is not the start I was looking for. It's not like I even have any board clears or anything. This is why you can't do anything fun. That is absolutely ridiculous. Oh, all right. Yeah. Whatever. I don't really care. We're done here. Hopefully, game two is something a little bit more not as nut drawy. Like the fact that they went off on turn 2 for 18 goblins is absolutely ridiculous. We just want to flicker things. Is that so much to ask for? Yeah, I don't even have commentary for that last one. This hand's keepable. The fact that I don't have a second colored source is mildly awkward, but I get to at least Thraben Inspector and get a redraw off the clue if I need it. Creeping Tar Pit typically means something along the always play Teague. I honestly don't think that was the correct play there. Like, what were the odds that they were just going to be able to go completely off? Okay, so this is looking like, wow. This is probably a new blue-black Karn list. Okay, so here I think I'm leaving up Path. No, that's not correct. What are my 2-drops in the stack? My 2-drops are Wall of Blossoms, Life from the Loam. So I can aggressively cycle the Street Wraith. I don't think that that's the correct call. Spellskite means that they're trying to protect something, and I'm likely just going to be able to drop Night of Autumn next turn. So I'm going to hold up Path on the off chance that I actually need it. And going to make opponent call the bluff here. I could potentially have something like Giant Growth, just see if they're willing to block with Spellskite over 1 damage. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to crack the clue to find my land, and then, worst case, just Street Wraith. Depending on what opponent does here, I have the out of Astral Drift, Night of Autumn on Spellskite, just running out Displacer for value. Like, I have options, so I don't want to commit too hard into random cards in my hand. This is a mildly awkward Ghost Quarter. But seeing Blast Zone and Creeping Tar Pit with the Spellskite is so weird, because this typically leans to control. This typically leads to kind of unfair strategies or land tutors, and this is usually protect a creature. So, a lot of random combinations of cards here. The imp's name is Bitey. Opponent is taking their dear sweet time to figure out what's going on here, though. I just want to cycle cards. Is that so much to ask for? Astral Drift being able to cycle and flicker the Spellskite if they're trying to protect a creature seems super good here, though. If opponents saw our hand, they would feel a little embarrassed it's taking this long to figure out if they want to duress us or something. Seraphix, are you here for fun or are you here to critique me? I really hope it's for fun. But honestly, you're probably fine critiquing me. I'm terrible at this game. Alright, so I'm willing to bet that opponent stepped away. So let's see here. Opponent's name is D. Berrigan 6. And Google found absolutely nothing. Oh, there's a pithing needle. Okay, well, pithing needle I don't think is here to name anything. So, I mean, they can name Ghost Quarter if they're concerned about their lands. Yeah, they can't really name Clue, so... I mean, they could probably assume I have an Eldrazi Displacer. I mean, 100% next level have to be Stream Sniping is called the 2 Street Wraiths in hand. Yeah, if I were on the other side of the field, I'd name Horizon Canopy or Eldrazi Displacer. Ghost Quarter's probably also a decent name. Like, it's possible that we just haven't found our Leonin Arbiter. Yeah. So, we look a lot like green-white taxes. Alright, well, this is definitely a Karn deck. Oh, this is probably Saffron Olive's list. The Thopter Sword, Karn Get the Dice, whatever it's called. Yeah, there's only 5 people watching. That's me, the Squirrel Dealer staff account, Brad, Juan, you, and then one other person. I guess we're up to 6. Okay, so... I love being able to flicker that at instant speed. Come on, Astral Drift! I've had a lot of opponents with draw step stops lately. So I'm putting an opponent on the Saffron Olive War of Invention Karn deck that has Core Tapper and all that random shenanigans. And they probably just had an awkward hand. These look like awesome war targets on the Thopter shell, so let's grab the planes. And instant speed cycling with Street Wraith for free is freaking amazing with Astral Drift. Squirrels is not the right shell, but Street Wraith and Astral Drift does feel like it's power level enough to be in Modern. There's no point to attack here. Getting this Blast Zone up to 3 is slightly awkward. I'm pretty sure this says non-land. Yeah, it's target creature. Oh, so I can't even hit any of their just base artifacts. That's awkward. Yeah, so I actually don't have a ton going on here. Knight of Autumn's going to come down and blow up the Thopter Foundry. So going to Street Wraith that instep to get rid of the Spellskite for a turn. Alright. So until the beginning of the next instep, we get to cycle this guy. Astral Drift will get rid of that for a turn. Draw another Displacer, which isn't bad. Yeah, Knight's just going to be able to wreck their board. I'm super on board for this. So destroy the Thopter Foundry because that's most important at the moment. Then I actually still need to make my land drop for the turn, so I'm going to cycle the Street Wraith again. Wow, if opponent keeps this up and Ensnaring Bridge Word deck, they're not going to be able to figure out how to kill me. I got another knight. Oh, so that was actually a mistake. I was supposed to... No, if I hit the land, that was still actually the correct call, but this means that they're... Oh. Nope, they were both my abilities. So, I did do that right. I actually should have read which one was which, but... I clicked in the right order. I'm good at this game. So opponent's best hope right now is to ramp up the Blast Zone twice. So one more land will get them up there, and they can pay to sacrifice it. I can at least flicker the Knight so it won't get wrecked, but losing multiple 3-drops for that Blast Zone is going to be pretty painful. If they do end up getting Blast Zone off, though, I have a second Knight to back this one up, and then multiple Displacers and card draw, and I think we're pretty solidly in this one. Still love to find another land. Oh, if I blow up the Spellskite next, it's going to turn off their Mox Opal. This path, I'm actually considering pointing at my Thraben Inspector because I need to hit my land drops. Multi-spelling and activating Displacer is going to cost a lot of mana from my side. Although, now it looks like I got to do something to kill Karn. Shouldn't be that bad. It's just going to be... Oh boy. I mean, that actually does do things. So... Huh. I'm not sure what to do here. So I'm assuming I'm actually supposed to Knight of Autumn, make it a 4-3, so I have a real clock, and then path the Spellskite, kill the Karn? Yeah, but how do I kill the Spellskite? Because I could just Knight of Autumn it and then path to ramp myself. Alternatively, Wall of Omens, try to find a land drop. This Knight of Autumn hitting their Mox Opal is really going to set them back. Seraphix, you're always right. I'm just going to go with it. I don't like giving them the land, but the other problem is now Blast Zone's getting kind of live, so like Blast Zone taking out my 4/3 knight and my 2/1 knight are going to take down almost my entire clock. Deranged Term is a 5-mana 1/1 with Vanishing. I mean, that was pretty much going to happen, so now they have 4 mana again with the Opal. Yeah, Brad, when I like to draw cards, so I was tempted to do that, but I think this is the more disciplined play. Okay, so they ramp up Blast Zone by 1. That doesn't really do anything. So I'm going to run out of Displacer since they're at least 2 turns away from popping it. I guess there could have been an argument to run out the Thraben Inspector as well, but this is currently representing 10 damage next turn, which means that after Blast Zone I can just put out a Displacer or try to Thraben Inspector from under a bridge. Oh, wait. Where'd they get the 4th mana at? They tap 2 for Blast Zone. Oh, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Well, opponent, you're not getting any new information here. We are a Squirrel deck. I mean, this doesn't really do a whole lot with Torpor Orb out, but Alright, so I'm expecting them to have a way to get a bridge here, so I'm just going to run out the second Thraben Inspector. They're going to have to ramp up the Blast Zone and blow it to get around me killing them with the 1/2s. Yep. You get to kill the 3 CMC stuff. The Astral Drift doesn't really do anything here. I guess it kind of shuts down whatever they're doing. But they have to find like a bridge, have the mana to blow this up, and a way to remove 2 Thraben Inspectors. So this is looking a little bit locked up. This Torpor Orb was pretty bad, but I'm assuming that if they blow up the Blast Zone and yeah. Honestly, blowing the Blast Zone at this point doesn't really mean a whole lot, so... Oh, that would destroy a bridge if they had it. Okay, so they can technically take an extra turn, but they have to clear the board. Then I just activate Displacer and blow up whatever they play the following turn. Yeah, this doesn't feel like it helps at all. I'm so confused. Is anybody following what's happening? Because I'm not. They get to take an extra turn if they want it, but that's literally going to... I guess they can blow up all my 3-drops and they can take an extra turn after the fact. But they'll still just be dead to the Thraben Inspectors unless they're holding an answer in hand, but meanwhile they've used up half their clock to lose game 1. Okay. So we're for something that gains 5 life, and then okay, yeah, I don't get it. I so don't get it. So T comes in, Dissenter's Deliverance comes in, Stony comes in. I can bring in Rip for the Thopter Sword combo, but I don't really think that's worth it. Yeah, I really don't think that's worth it. I have cast outs to just grab anything kind of generic. I have 4 Knight of Autumn's main board, so finding a way to deal with Torpor Orb is, yeah, cut the pass. Finding a way to cut or to get rid of the Torpor Orb shouldn't be that hard with 4 things and multiple cyclers. The Displacer can just win games if they don't have a Torpor Orb. Like, I like the ways to cycle through my deck. So maybe it's just a trim on a Hermit and probably just a Wall of Omens for funsies. They do draw an additional card, but they don't do anything under an orb. So yeah, probably the Deep Forest Hermit's going to be hard to attack through a Ensnaring Bridge. Also costs 5 mana. A wall can at least draw an extra card early on if it's drawn early. This seems like it's most optimal. For being a prison deck, opponent sure is playing a little slow though. All right, what does this mean? This has 2 redraws, a Knight of Autumn. I mean, I don't have paths that I need. The Raven Inspector is just mediocre. My lands cycle and are slow, so that's a little rough, but my life total really doesn't matter here, so I can aggressively cycle the Street Wraiths. I mean, on paper, this hand isn't too bad for 5. Yeah, let's just keep this. Yeah, when I see Street Wraiths, though, and I'm not in Death's Shadow and I don't want to actively lose life, just paying 2 life to get a fresh draw isn't that good. Looking at these slow lands and 3 drops in hand are also slightly awkward. If opponent just has a Torpor Orb here, it doesn't really do a whole lot. It's not like I have Loam or anything to make these count, and I only have 2 more cycling lands in the deck. Come on, Bitey, you can pick it up a little bit. So, Wall of Blossoms is fine. That means that I'm probably going to aggressively cycle the Street Race after I get out my tap land. I'm willing to see what else happens, but odds are I'm going to try to find a regular land here. Plus, getting just a single cycler into the bin really turns on life from the loam. It can just draw us through most of our deck and actually find our cast outs or Dissenter's Deliverances. Alright, that's a card. It does things. That's a brush land. That does even better things. So, Teague here? Or am I just overvaluing what happened in that last game versus Storm? I think I'm on Teague here so they can't whir for Sword. Either that or I'm just jamming a Wall of Blossoms and drawing a replacement card. So they won't be able to whir for anything more than 1. If they run out something like... Yeah, Teague being an attacker is probably the most relevant thing that we could say here. He's going to start getting some chip damage in. Then if they do spend their turn figuring out how to get Sword into play, I can just blow up Foundry and shut off that combo. Because they can just drop a 1 CMC thing like a Welding Jar or a Mox. Yep, Pithing Needle is a card. I don't think I care about that card, but it's a card. It's also a target to sack with the Foundry, so... Alright, just going for the Displacer. Makes sense. There's the Opal. Had to assume that they had it. This is going to be Werfer Sword. Or just Hardcast and Snaring Bridge. Yeah, that's fine. Stony Silence. Alright, so I think that means I'm on Stony Silence, Cycle the Steep. Alright, so opponent F6 too. I don't know if they're starting to feel the sting of the clock, or they just didn't think that they'd be blocking Teague, or what. Stony is a very good draw here, though. So opponent's got to find... They shouldn't be running Cryptic. Sword gets significantly worse when you can't activate Foundry. Alright, that's a Street Wraith. And a Horizon Canopy. So a hand shaping up pretty nice here. Knight of Autumn is probably just going to blow up the Ensnaring Bridge. I mean, there could be an argument to blow up the Pithy Needle first. Just because the Pithy Needle is going to make it so that my Displacer works. I'm just going to try to force the concession here. Let's blow up the Pithy Needle. Wow, and I can't figure out how to tap for mana to save my life. Destroy target artifact. Yeah, let's get the Pithy Needle. Should tell opponent that we have enough going on that they've got to find like an actual answer. Another Thopter Foundry that doesn't do anything. Another Teague that doesn't do anything. So I'm going to have two draws here. I'm going to Wall of Blossoms and then cycle Street Wraith if I need to get Eldrazi Displacer out. But opponent currently has a blue or a black open and can't whir, so like I'm feeling pretty confident in our position. Like this is just a prison deck that's not quite working out. But it's more fun to do it this way. Here, how about this? I'll try to find a land first. Oh, that's why I didn't want to do that first. Fine. Seraphix, why do you like to win games? Why can't we just do fun things? All right. Well, that prompted a pretty quick concession at that point. So, moving up to 1-1, moving up in our lives. I wonder if I could actually just make that one text file. Let's remove that. Hey, look at me, I'm so smart. Now I don't even have to line them up. I can just single document it. Alright, love to play first. I'm enjoying this deck. I'm like really enjoying this deck. And it's like, you see this come out and you're like, what the heck is going on? It's Squirrels, although we haven't done Squirrels once. Well, if you're playing Artifact Prison and your opponent's main decking 4 Knight of Autumns and ways to continuously blow stuff up, yeah, that's not going to go well. Hey, look at that! We found a Hermit! Although, it looks like we're playing against Burn, so that's going to be slightly awkward for Flicker reasons. And double horizon canopies is going to be painful. I could have just secluded Steep there and been ready to have 3 untapped lands on turn 3 that weren't horizon canopies. Yeah, looking at all the self-damage against Naya Burn is not looking great. But we have Night of Autumns. And more Street Wraiths. Alright, so Wall of Omens gives Syrian Blaze a target. Opponent left up 2 mana. It's probably a Boros Charm. I think we want to Astral Drift, and then our Street Wraith can actually fog some damage from something. But, this is not looking good. I don't like losing this much life against Burn. Yep, there's the Boros Charm, down to 11. Now I have to, Wall of Omens into a land? Street Wraith is a redraw, but Street Wraith also puts me dead to 3 bolts when opponent has a bolt on the table and 4 cards in hand. Basic? Okay, that kind of counts. Yay, get a draw card! Well, if I do get some squirrels out there, they're going to be massive at the end of the day. Or at least have a lot of them. Wow, and another Boros Charm. Alright, so I'm at 4 with 2 Street Wraiths in hand. Show me what you got, opponent. There's a Lava Spike. And a Tarka's Command. Alright, lots of life gain. How do we do lots of life gain? Leyline is definitely auto-include. Cast out gets pretty bad. Street Wraith, I really like the instant, so I don't want to get rid of all of them, but I do want to get rid of a good number of them. Actually, it just might be all of them. Pain life as a resource just feels awful. Everything else is fun. Everything else feels incredible in this matchup. Just seeing 2 Horizon Canopies and 2 Street Wraiths is not what you want to see against Burn. Let's give this another shot. Love to play first. This is playable, but it's not... this is one I want to keep, but I'm going to get yelled at for keeping. I could Leyline, or mulligan to Leyline. That's probably my best bet. Yeah, 2 Thrag Tusks are great, but it's just too expensive. Let's get a little greedy here. Alright, I don't want to go lower than that. Ghost Quarter to the bottom. And slow start. Opponent on Atarka's commands means that they have more creatures, so this path could be live. Hi, Taylor. I'm just going to play on curve. I could hold up a path, but if they end up bolting the Wall of Blossoms to get around it, then I'm winning. Wow, all 4 pain lands. Deck, why must you treat me so? Alright, at least 1 burn spell's got to go to the Wall of Blossoms. Hopefully it's not Syrian Blaze. Opponent did correctly wait, so that if I had something awkward, then... Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to block Taylor and path the Eidolon. It's going to be 2 damage regardless. And this is going to force them to put a bolt at Wall of Blossoms if they want to kill it. I gotta cycle the secluded steep step into some other action while holding up 5 mana for the Thragdaddy. And they had the Searing Blaze. That's just fantastic. We'll see if they have the Skull Crack for Thragdad. Yeah, I'm just going to yield until here. Opponent's trying to figure out how to work their triggers. And I will take the 1 point of damage here. It feels like getting something like an Astral Slide out next turn is worth the 1 point of damage. Horizon Canopy is not. Wow, seriously, all the pain lands, just every single one of them. Alright, Wall of Blossoms do work. Okay, that's actually not terrible. I am fine with Painland Tron, but I don't want you to have Searing Blaze Tron. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. And Suspend Rift Bolt, leave up a suspicious amount of mana representing a Skull Crack. Basic's not bad, though. It's not a pain land. Show me the Skull Crack. Hey! Alright, so opponent has 2 cards in hand. I'm at 15. Definitely been in worse spots against Burn. They even had 2 Searing Blazes. Walls do work. I'd love to see some Flicker or some of my Squirrels, like the whole reason I built the deck. 3 copies of Deep Forest Hermit should give me a non-zero number of Squirrels here. Alright, Thragdad's currently saved 5 life. I probably should have just taken the pain to actually path this. At the current moment, I think I have to take the 3 and keep a clock on the table. Like, just chump blocking that's not very productive. Wow, and the Boros Charms. Opponent actually had a really good hand. We just haven't had any pressure here. Well, we weren't going to win if we chump block with the token. Like, there's just not a whole lot coming back from that. That is an Astral Drift. Which means I get to cycle the Monastery Swift Spear when they attack and get a fresh draw. No, that's not good enough. Alright, staying back, I can take the pain to path, otherwise it's just going to be a Astral Drift for turn, and hopefully opponent doesn't draw 2 burn spells immediately. Getting a Thragtusk and another Cycler would mean that we can win. That just felt like absolutely abysmal luck, though. It probably would have been correct to block that. That just doesn't seem right. Alright, opponent. We're in end of combat. You're very far ahead. Would you like to pass the turn back to me now? Yeah, this has just felt awful. Like, they've even hit a decent number of lands. That might have been why I've been alive for so long. But Searing Blazes, Bolts, Boros Charms. All the best cards in the matchup. All right. And they have more action. All right. Likely means that we're not getting anything done here. Another Boros Charm. Just lovely. All right, let's go on to the next match. Between 2 Thragtusk and 4 Knight of Autumns, it should have definitely been within the realm of possibility, but first hand was just a bad keep against burn. It's hard to know that in the dark, and second hand was... it was fine. We just drew a lot of lands, and most of them were pain lands. Do move to 1-2. I'd like a squirrel hand. This is match 4. At some point, I need to actually draw squirrels. Alright, this is a mildly slow hand, but it has interaction and redraws. Opponent's got a Judge's Familiar. Can't really read a whole lot into that, but... oh, great. Looks like Storm again. Knight of Autumn is not good versus Storm, but it's a good card. Seeing as I don't have an Astral Slide yet, I'm probably cycling the Street Rate to figure out if I can cycle the Steep Step thing. 2 lands is probably fine for what I have here. And getting one of these into the yard turns on Life from the Loam. We only have 2 copies of it, but it is pretty core to our strategy to be able to continue cycling the Astral Drift. Alright, looks like another prison deck. So, blue-red artifacts. Goblin Engineer. Alright, so this is going to be like the pseudo Tinker deck, I think. I haven't actually seen a list for this one, but I'm aware it became an archetype. So you get to search for an artifact, put it into the graveyard, then sack the artifact and bring it back if it's small. This is probably just a new variant of eggs then. That's probably likely going to go get Scrap Troller. The fact that it has to tap means I'm probably pathing it here. Oh, it's just another sword combo deck. Okay, I'm less inclined to path it, but I think I still need to. Knight of Autumns should just overrun this matchup, but I don't want them to be able to re-enable a combo piece. Yep, blow up all the artifacts. It'd be a shame if somebody broke your nice new toys, wouldn't it, opponent? Alright, so found another steep. Brushland's what I want to see. Let's Wall of Omens into another untapped land. Nope, but we did actually get a squirrel. If we get a squirrel this game and we lose, I'm still happy. Although with Displacer and Knight of Autumn, it feels like that's not going to be super likely. Yeah, Narset's not going to help you here, opponent. I guess it tutors combo pieces, but I guess it also shuts off our wall. I'll just cycle during your turn, though. Basic! Horizon Canopy works. So I can blow up the Mox Opal, or I could just run out a Displacer. Running out the Displacer doesn't actually do anything overly productive. Knight of Autumn, blow up Opal doesn't feel that great either. Yeah, I think I'm on Knight, but I'm considering growing it. They did F6. I could probably have taken the bobble if I would have moved a little quicker on it. Yeah, I already played land for turn. If they are hoping to be an artifact combo deck, Knight should do some work here, but that means I'm playing this tap next turn with the Displacer and then being able to flicker. Well, they found another one. They do have a whir in hand. There's the sword. Just naturally draw a Knight? Horizon Canopy means that I can Deep Forest Hermit. Let's play you. Attack Narset, why not? Actually turns my cycling back on during my turn. Then we get to Displacer. I can at least kill their artifacts that come out. Some things are coming up right. And my squirrels are going to be bigger than their thopters. After they make 4 to 5 thopters, though, I just get to blow up the thopter foundry. And then... gotta love all the random artifact hate main board. Alright, so Displacer's disabled. Path. So they can currently crack and get 2 Thopters, which means Knight's gonna die. Really don't want Knight to die here, but I'm okay to send in Displacer if they end up getting 3 artifacts somehow. I did get Simian Spirit Guide dismembered in one of the last videos I did. I could always just path one of the tokens, although Deep Forest Hermit's going to come out and just basically overrun this board. Like, he's going to do some work. Then I get to untap and I can basically draw 3 times to find an actual answer. I'm not attacking with the Knight of Autumn here, despite being able to trade with a Thopter and it not being very good. This would end up making it a 2-3 Thopter, so Knight would just die. Yeah, Serafix, I try to describe some of my lines. I actually have a decent number of people that watch on YouTube, despite the fact there's not a lot that actually tune in. So just trying to make it clear, like, there was no point to attack here, despite the fact I can't flicker him at the moment. I need to set up these yields because they're going to make a lot of them. And they targeted me. Fair enough. Yay, the prison decks. I guess we'll see if this guy's also on Karn. If he's on Karn, Torpor Orbs him a little bit more likely. They potentially have one in the board. But main board, I should hopefully just find a way to get rid of the Spyglass and just knight them until the end of time. And my lands have done a decent amount of damage to me. Astral Drift. Well, that's a start. Run out the Drift. Then this means I get to cycle the Knight to place the Spyglass. I do love this deck. One of my squirrels will eat it here, but I'm perfectly okay with that. Yeah, I actually think I have to hit Foundry first, but that's fine. So I get a cycle here. Come on, deck. Be kind. I think opponent's trying to figure out what's going on. This deck feels like it needs more life from the loams. Because we still haven't seen one yet, and it feels like that's pretty... We do know about Whir. Yep, that's fine. So I'm not currently dead with Path on the 2-3. That last one, they should have sacked the Thopter Foundry, but that's fine. Wow, they had the third one. Alright, so I need to chain together some cheap cyclers if I'm going to make this happen. Which, it's not looking like it's going to happen. Alright, Wall of Omens is a bad start. But it costs the same as sacking Horizon Canopy here. Currently looking at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage if they could make blockers, but if for whatever reason I can just get through, it's 12 damage. I can currently make 4, gain 4 life back. What have we got here? I don't think I have outs, opponent. Let me draw. Found another pain land. And another wall. Boy. I just want to see what it is, and then I'm going to kill myself. Alright, post board. We just played this matchup. Stony Silence comes in. Teague comes in. Dissenter's Deliverance comes in. Because they're playing with Welder, Rest in Peace is probably a small consideration. I don't think it really does a whole lot. Path is definitely coming out. Cast Out staying in. Street Wraith staying in. They seemed like they were less on bridge. Rip does look better now, but I don't know if it's good enough. They are the sword combo. Alright, so let's do this. The Raven Inspector's slow and can't block on the ground, and trim a Hermit because it's the top of our curve. Yeah, alright. I'm a terrible Flicker deck. Just let me get some squirrels. This is what I want in a hand, and we actually found Rip. It's 2 Rips with no lands that cycle, but it's a start. Also don't have much hate here, but Knight's actually going to come down. Thopter Sword is a pretty good deck. It's tedious and boring online, but you can do some okay stuff in paper. The thing is they haven't really had good tutor targets. Like, you can run Tezzerator or whatever package you need to, but the payoff usually isn't as good as you want to build your deck around a slow attrition-y combo like that. Yeah, Tezzerator in Legacy is even rarer than it is in Modern. All right, we got our land. And it's one we can loam. So I am identifying a couple of things that I want to work on for this deck. First and foremost, if I'm going to be dredging creatures, I'd need a way to actually utilize my graveyard a little bit better. Something delvey like a Hooting Mandrills would probably be fine. All right, can I draw? There we go. Since I don't actually want a Knight of Autumn here, I'm just going to Wall of Blossoms with a fetch land. Basic Plains is not bad. This means that next turn I can just go get something with my fetches, loam up 2 lands, and actually get up to Hermit. This actually might be a squirrel hand. EE on 0. All right. You got a welding jar. Alright, so Scattered Groves is the only duel left in the deck, and it's a cycler. I'm not excited about it, but it's going to enter tapped anyway, so may as well just grab it. Then here we get to... Ooh, we get Rip. They did run out their welding jar, which means that I'm definitely on Knight of Autumn here. Alternatively, I could just loam and Rip. Rip and loam are terrible. I should have actually taken out loam for Rip. Alright, well, let's get rid of the welding jar. Basic targeting math. You don't want to give them an option to keep whatever they want to keep, so you just target the welding jar. Plus, EE for 0 doesn't mean a whole lot. It was likely just a word target. Windsweep's going to come out just so I can actually loam next turn and then slam the Rip. They are aggressively getting rid of this Narset, considering we've shown them so much draw. All right, so they do have loam for War for 3 active, and there's a puzzle box. So, puzzle box, for those of you who don't play janky decks, at the beginning of each player's draw step, they put all cards in their hand on the bottom in a random order. So this is going to empty our hand. And I'm actually okay to see a lot of these cards go away, so I'm going to crack now. Opponent is having fun too. So put 6 cards on the bottom. I don't get to draw anything. Then I get to kill Narset. Loam would have been good to dredge because it doesn't count as card drawing, so I would have actually kept a card in hand there, but it really doesn't matter. Opponent gets a fresh look at 5 cards, and we do have multiple top decks I'm okay to draw into. Basically, Hermit's the only thing I can't cast. Yeah, Narset's Teferi's puzzle box is kind of on my list of stuff I could play with. It felt like a cheesier way of doing um, Days Undoing. Plus, where you can actually hit it as opposed to Days Undoing, which you have to draw into, and Teferi's Puzzle Box will also draw you into your combo as opposed to just like Days Undoing and shuffling it back in if you don't have Narset. Oh, that's a pretty good one. I like that card. Do you actually have counter magic? Apparently not. Alright, so opponent has 4 mana and an active puzzle box. So they'll see like plenty of cards. If they have an answer, they will find it. Oh, there's the whir for 4. So this might be Witchbane. This could just be whir for 4 because they have nothing else to do, so they might as well see 4. Bottle Cloister. Alright. Considering how much removal I have, that feels loose. They're just going to lose all cards in their hand. I mean, I only have a 2-1, so it's not like I have a giant clock here, but... Alright, there's another Narset. Oh, that's awkward. So now I'm not going to draw any cards. I think I just got hard locked out of this one because I have a 2-1 that's about to die. I mean, I'll send it at Narset, but odds are they're going to block for her. No? Does opponent not realize I'm hard locked? Yeah, and then draws that many cards. We're for 5. Gets an ensnaring bridge. So I can't attack Narset anymore. I can't draw any cards. I am about to scoop here. Wow. And they had the wear tear. Alright, well, I'm going to try to attack Narset one more time, and then we can move on with our lives. Oh, duh. Yeah. Bottled Cloister, 0 cards in hand. Alright, well, that was painful, but moving on to be king of the 2-3 bracket once again. Burn felt like we should have won it, just awkward hand. Prison should have been fine, but the Teferi's Puzzle Box was a pretty good top deck on turn 4 right after we laid out our Night of Autumn. So I ended up just getting mine twisted for 5 and janked out. Like, that's going to happen regardless of what deck you're on. If your opponent actually gets the cards that they want to draw, it can definitely happen. So a couple of things I am noticing. Life from the Loam is really good, but we haven't actually had a chance to do it yet. It feels like it's supposed to be a 4 in the deck if it's part of our primary strategy, and if we are dredging, we need another way to get cards out of the graveyard other than just picking up lands with Life from the Loam. Street Wraith and Astral Drift at the same time has just been incredibly lovely. Like, we were able to get the turn 3 Mana Dork from Storm, and they ended up still going off, but we were able to snag it from them, so it put off all the time that they spent thinking to try to get the combo to go off. The Displacer has been slightly awkward. The 4 Horizon Canopies are probably too much, but we've had some fun synergies with this deck. Like, this right here is, Life from the Loam Ghost Quarter. I like it. I don't know what this matchup is, so I'm going to leave the path open, despite the fact I really don't want a path if I'm on the Ghost Quarter Loam plan. But we also have Astral Drift into Street Wraith if we end up going for a little bit of a slower fun. All right. Yeah, let's take a natural draw. Run out the Ghost Quarter, and then what do I want to do here? I think just ship it back. This is looking like burn. That's at least the read that I'm getting right now. So if it's burn, I don't want to aggressively start Street Wraithing, and Ghost Quarter's probably not going to be nearly as good. Snow-covered forest. So this is probably Snow Strix and Goif. Or maybe just Jund with some other elements to it. Alright, well, I'm going to have a Flicker active. And then I'm going to start Ghost Quartering the basics that you so diligently went and tutored for me. So it's 5 colors snow so far? That seems awkward. The fact that they haven't done anything, I'm 100% on this. They had showed 2 green fetch lands, so I'm expecting to be able to take green first. Alright, so it's 5 colors snow. It's putting me a little bit closer on something along the lines of slivers. Okay, so there's the Snow Strix. I don't really want to flicker that for them, so they get a draw card. Get to play the Ghost Quarter for turn, and then if they are green-blue, I probably want to take their snow-covered island next. Whatever, let's just take them in the order they fetched them. My Loam engine is currently online, so if they're only dealing with a 1-1 in the meantime, I'm perfectly okay with that. Wow. All right. So 2 to me, discard. Discard's pretty easily going to be Deep Forest Hermit because I think I'm on the Ghost Quarter plan. Like, what the heck is going on over there? They're trying to do Merit Lage, I'm assuming? They're going to feel really bad when I flicker their Merit Lage token. Oh, joy. I am kind of at a loss for words now. You know, Seraphix, I really couldn't tell you. Like, I really, really could not tell you. And now they get to go get liquid metal coating and start blowing up my lands. And then Mycosynth Lattice get locked out of the game. Like, how do they... I mean, this was just a bad matchup for Ghost Quarter Lock, I suppose. But who knew that 4-color random snow shenanigans was about to get started? On the plus side, this deck should get absolutely wrecked by our aggro start. Are you going to kill it? It looks like you're trying to kill it. It's probably a Scred. Oh, I punted. I had to do that in the main step. Oh, well. This means Displacer comes down. Actually, Actually, no, it doesn't, because I'm still floating on a mana. Thanks to Karn, the most fair Magic card ever printed. Alright, so the only color they haven't shown us is white. Yeah, alright. I honestly don't even want to play this next game, but we'll power through it. So, opponent has some shenanigan deck. That means that Teague is 100% coming in, Dissenter's Deliverance is coming in. The number of times I've slammed Stony Silence on a board and opponents dropped Mycosynth Lattice is north of 2 now. So I'm always tempted bringing this in. It just takes off the Lattice route, but liquid metal coating's still bad. I'm kind of just going to try to speed this up a little bit. So actually, we haven't had a squirrel win yet. We'll leave all the squirrels in this time around. Knight of Autumn should still put some work in. Probably just trim on some walls that can attack. And probably a path because they have a million basics. I'm assuming that they have the Merit Lage generator, but... Alright, how about that? Sure. Honestly, it just looks like a greedy deck. It's 4-color Snow X with the new basic fetcher. If I wouldn't have given them the opportunity to go fetch out their colors, they actually would have been stuck on 2 until like turn 4, turn 5. We're going to have a good aggressive start, and we should just be able to take it from there. The walls are quite bad. Our 5-drops are kind of mediocre, but if they stick and opponents running a little bit on the slow side, we're fine. So we've played Karn shenanigans this round. 2 rounds of Prison, Burn, and I can't even remember the match that we won. We've had some weird matchups tonight, though. Like, I know Modern's pretty open, but we have had some really weird matchups tonight for Squirrel Slide. I really wanted this to work out, but the one time we were going to be able to do it, opponent ended up calling our Displacer. Alright, opponent. I don't know what you think is going on, but it shouldn't take 3 minutes to sideboard. There we go. Love to play first. We have a slow start. We can do better. Actually, this is a scry as well as getting a land into the bin, and 2 redraws with... Yeah, I'm actually going to keep that. The Steep is a redraw, so are their Horizon Canopies after they drop out their big dudes, so... Yeah, and I'm just going to do this now. I don't see any incentive not to unless they untap in Thoughtseize, and if they do, that's just prime. Prime after seeing what we were paired up against last go-around. Alright, that is a Teague. Mr. Teague, come down and start the clock. Snow Strix is definitely a thing. If they have blue-green available, I'm not attacking into it. Prismatic Vista, cracked main phase. Actually, it won't have Death Touch unless they have 3 snow permanents. Is it 3 others? Scryfall. What's this thing called? Three other. So I'm okay to attack in with Teague for a turn. Do work, Mr. Teague. So I'm going to make Knight of Autumn big here. They didn't really show us anything that I actually care about. Make you big. Yep, you had it. Alright, so Snow Strix now has Death Touch. They get my squirrel. I cannot win tonight. I just can't win tonight. And Ghost Quarter has already shown that it's not going to do anything, so if they are planning something grindy, I'm just going to get rid of the Snow Strix now. They're likely flashing another one in, so it's not like this is going to go very far. This can come in tapped, then I'll have Horizon Canopy, and I can start cycling Horizon Canopy while still being able to hold up casting 5-drops. And opponent has all 4 colors with 3 fetch lands. Alright, that's another Hermit. Hermit is me happy to send in Squirrels to do Teague's job. I would assume that they're on Tribal Flames before Worldly Council. Alright, that's a Deep Forest Hermit down. Scrying Sheets was a pretty obvious include, so they get to pay 2 as long as one of them's snow, and look at the top card. If it's snow, you can put it into your hand. This is a lot of card draw, and also gets them a lot of new threats thanks to Modern Horizons having a snow archetype supported. Oh. Opponent won't even let us Squirrels. Like, that is so tilting. Yep, opponent, you get to take a look at our Flicker goodness. I mean, honestly, I don't know how opponent's deck is supposed to handle the Deranged Hermit Squirrels. Like, this is going to trade with their Death Touchers that are supposed to hold it back, and we Flicker, so if you're going for Merit Lage, it's not going to work. You'll get a lot of cards, but unless you actually have a hard removal spell for Teague, like another K command, it's likely not going to happen. Alright, so I don't actually have another Cycler life here, so I'm going to go ahead and sack the Horizon Canopy. Alright, well, that's a thing. Opponent knows about all of this, so I'm going to try to represent the least about our hand, which is going to be these guys. Cycling this Astral Drift should get us 2, but we have a couple of redraws here, so I'm actually thinking I'm going to run out the other Astral Drift as well. We still get to Flicker a number of things like Thragtusk and Night of Autumn and Wall of Omens and Wall of Blossoms. Like, we have a lot of really good Flicker targets if we just get another Cycler. Alright, so you have a Ice Fang Codal, I think is how you say that, snake. You get Snow Strix. I don't think they even activated Scrying Sheets last turn. Yeah, I don't know what's going on over there. Cast out. 100% running out this Astral Drift then. Yeah, cast out is a cycle. I wasn't intending to cast it. They still can't get out Karn. I think they're looking for another Codal. That's what they left mana up for. All right, opponent, you got 2 more turns. All right, so apparently Teak's pretty safe. Now that I have cast out to Flicker Teague, I'm going to be attacking in with him. Deck, for real, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lands. I kind of want to just cycle the cast out to draw a different card. This is infuriating. No cards into hand with scrying sheets. Alright, so as long as they don't try to kill Teague their end step or my turn, then I should be pretty safe. Dead of Night would... What the hell? I don't know what's going on anymore. I honestly just don't know what's going on anymore. Alright, whatever. I'm thinning. I'm actually thinning. Alright, Thraben is at least a redraw. And I actually probably should have ghost courted the scrying sheets a little while ago. Alright, that's acceptable. I run 1 forest, 2 forests. So I still have a forest to tutor, which means that both of these guys are going to get flickered back in. And 100% going to hit the scrying sheets. Apparently they didn't want to activate, but that's fine. I don't think they knew the top card of their deck. I don't know why they'd scry first. Oh, because they had to pay for it. Derp the derp. 13's paying attention. Joke's on you, opponent. I'm going to flicker both my creatures. Alright, so that's good to know. They have 6 basics. Dude, I have no freaking clue what's going on over there. And we drew another land! Wow. Alright. Okay, so that's a real card. They've seen our deck, so I'm just going to Thragtusk here. It really doesn't matter, because if Thragtusk dies, I get the token. They're going to have 2 removal spells, and they have 2 cards in hand, and they're at 1. Okay, so you're going to die. Okay, game 3. So Thoughtseiz's Leyline kind of becomes a consideration. They've shown that they want to kill every creature in the battlefield. 100% going to die. 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 100 Scred, Dread of Night, they're basically just 4-color awkward control off of snow basics. I'm not expecting Teague to survive, but we do have Flicker abilities to try to protect him, so I think we're pretty decent where we're at. Surgical on Deep Forest Hermit killed my hopes and dreams because we would have been able to keep flickering and getting a ton of squirrels there, but whatever. Um, this is Thraben, Cycle Cast Out, or Snag Karnith Cast Out. Get out Astral Drift, and opponent has to figure out how to deal with it. These are all things I signed up for. Currently 1-1 versus weird 4-color snow shenanigans. All right, that's a card I like to see. I actually think we would have probably raffle stomped game one if I wouldn't have tried to go on the Ghost Quarter plan, considering they were a basic deck. If they only had like 2 basics, it would have been a pretty easy lockout. This means that I have to run out the tap land. I don't like that. Alternatively, I sack the clue, try to draw into an untapped land. Now, I want to be able to make sure I hit my 3 drops next turn. Yep, Snow Strix comes out. Wow, they have a tracker. Yeah, tracker with the Dread of Night thing doesn't feel like it should work. I just cast this guy. If they try to slam a Karn, I'm definitely going to cast out Karn. If not, I can just keep the Tireless Tracker at bay. Wow, they have a second tracker. And a fetch land. Center's Deliverance. Does that actually solve any problems? I don't think it does. So I can crack the clue, try to find a land drop, and then just cycle the trackers away. Like, they're just going to get so much card advantage here that probably doesn't matter. Yeah, let's just see where it goes. So I'm going to fog a tracker and cycle the Deliverance. Okay, I am so confused. I really wish I was playing a real deck to punish this. Like anything moderately resembling a real deck, and this would be super over. Well, I did find a land, finally. Opponent's actually not going to have trample, so in a moment here, if I can actually get this Hermit out, we would be able to come back pretty hard. But right now, that means I have to... Jeez. So that's going to be Night of Autumn, gain life, block, cycle cast out. I'll take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm dead. We'll make them get it out though. So we got Night of Autumn, gain some life. Actually, no, cycling the tireless trackers here will buy me a full another turn. So yep, so cycle cast out. Need to top deck a land though. Okay, nope, still dead. Did get a land. So I'm going to be taking 7. I go down to 1, and then if I have to use the Horizon Canopy, I die. Otherwise, Drainage Tournament could come down, set up a ton of chump blockers, start flickering the Drainage Tournament, just get a million squirrels on the ground. Can I still survive with Wall of Omens and Flickering Astral Drift? So I can cycle Astral Drift and get rid of 2 things on play. Whatever, I'm done. Yeah, had this been a real deck, I would have absolutely destroyed that. So, what did we learn about Flicker? Because I feel like we actually had to learn lessons on this one. So, first and foremost, I do think Street Wraith Astral Drift has a home. I know after watching that league, some people might not think that that's true, but it's because I'm playing janky garbage. Not janky garbage. I'm playing Squirrels, it's fun, but if we're trying to make actually a competitive environment, Street Wraith the turn that Astral Drift comes down is completely viable. Drift was very powerful. And at the very worst case, it replaced itself for a different card while dodging a removal spell or preventing damage to you for a turn. Cycling Astral Drift would actually get rid of a Death Shadow with a Battle Rage on it without them being able to Stubborn Denial it. I actually would walk away from this and be like, I'm going to do something with Astral Drift that's going to be very fun and very powerful. Yes, tuning this is going to be a cluster. So I was just thinking, hey, there is kind of a Flicker Wisp deck out there. It's kind of green-white taxes, and there feels like there's a home for that, but the Loam and the Cycling Lands was cute. It was slow. I didn't have the right number of pieces for each of them. That actually felt a little underpowered in itself. Maybe if it was like a Wrenn and 6 or we did some kind of land strategy with that, that would be fine. Assault, Seismic Assault, I think is the card that I'm thinking of. Yeah, so being able to discard a land and deal some damage, loam it back. We actually would have locked our match 5 opponent out of the game had they not been literally a basic deck. There is some power there. Ghost Quarter strong. If you're running Ghost Quarter, you probably need Leon and Arbiter, but there were some really powerful effects in this. Night of Autumn was a really good card. We did play against Prison a couple of times, so I might be overvaluing that, but he's flexible. Getting multiple Enter the Battle triggers is actually really relevant. Astral Drift is going to do something. I think is this just the biggest takeaway there. Cast Out has seen play as like a 1 of in a couple of decks. I think for a while Martyr Proc was running as a 2 of because you can just get rid of it in the early game. It actually does something late game, but being able to flicker late game by using it was quite powerful as well. Yeah, that's the takeaway here is Astral Drift is great. We didn't actually get a Squirrel, which made me super sad. Like, our last opponent's Surgical Extraction did. Like, there's clearly a lot of value there, but it just didn't get to happen tonight. if we're going to be making a 5-drop, we need a way to ramp into it or just like a reliable way to make it happen. We also had 3 copies and we didn't draw like a single copy in our first 6 games. So I don't know what to make of that. We did get blown away in the matches. We got blown away. But what are you going to do? It's a fun janky deck. I don't really think there's anything else really to mention. I did want to use the graveyard if I was using Loam, but that probably needs to come out. Wall of Blossoms and Wall of Omens is really strong. It just might not be in this deck. Being able to flicker and draw cards and chump seemed pretty good, but our burn opponent ended up drawing Syrian Blazes and just completely blew us out of the water with that. Yeah, I mean, it was still an interesting deck, but Astral Drift was definitely the heavy takeaway. And guys, I am thirteene. This is Squirrel Week. Yesterday was Infinite Squirrels in Modern using Arbor Elf and Intruder Alarm to make Infinite Squirrels, currently up on YouTube. Uh, so I'm doing fun stuff this week. I only do 3 streams. This was number 2. Number 3 is going to be Wednesday at 6:30 Mountain Time. I'm going to be doing Aristocrat Squirrels, just sacrificing the squirrels off of Deep Forest Hermit. Our deck tonight was a little light on squirrels, so I apologize about that. But we did have some powerful plays, and I think the deck was actually interesting to play. Green White Taxes has always had like a weird home and has a lot of little decisions that can make big impacts. And yeah, that's me. I play a bunch of janky decks, usually King of the 2-3 bracket with tonight. But if you want to check out some content, that's squirreldealer.com or Squirrel Dealer on YouTube. Like, subscribe, all that self-promoting shilling garbage. And yeah, come check back in on Wednesday. We're going to be doing some Aristocrat stuff with probably like Blood Artist and Viscera Seer and Carrion Feeder. And like, I haven't locked down the list yet, but we're going to have some fun with it. And thanks for watching, everyone.